Hello, in this video we're going to talk about snapshots. Snapshots are commonly used in live sound consoles, and if you've ever used a live console such as the Avid Venue system or even these days cheaper consoles, you'd be familiar with this concept. Essentially, the idea is, for example, if I'm moving from song A to song B, in rehearsals, it might be that I've realized that when song B comes on, I want to change the reverb preset, and I want to also perhaps bring some extra faders online. Maybe there's some strings that have moved onto the stage and they need to be unmuted and things like this. Obviously, real-time fader moves can't be done in a live sound situation automatically, because you don't know exactly when the singer's going to sing, although you've got a pretty good idea. They're going to sing differently each time, so you've just got to do that sort of stuff manually. Now, of course, we can't do that in game audio, which is why we're often thinking about things like making sure all of our assets hit a certain target level, so that when we set them within the final mix at the level they sound right for that context, obviously everything is kind of pre-mixed and pre-balanced. However, there's going to be lots of situations during the game where you might want to change relative fader levels between two events, or you might want to change the reverb setting. So, for example, if in Tomb Raider Lara Croft walks into a building from outside, and obviously she's got core sound effects applied to her, footsteps, vocalizations, things like that, you might want to obviously change the reverb on her. And that's pretty easy to do if you use a snapshot. So in the live sound context, you would save the settings of the console for that particular song, and then you would save a new snapshot for the next song, having done your static changes. You can also do quite clever things, such as crossfade between the two snapshots for a smooth blend. So that core concept is what's at play inside game audio. Snapshots are often used in conjunction with things like trigger zones. In the example I just mentioned with Tomb Raider, Lara Croft walks into a different building, a snapshot is fired, and the reverb and ambience effects are changed to represent the new trigger area. Okay. Now, previously I've been struggling to think of ways that this could be used, but in recent years, they've added more sophisticated levels of firing these snapshots to fmod. And it occurred to me that one of the things they've done, which is to enable you to put snapshot firing triggers as instruments on audio or master fader tracks of events. And this made me think about our problem of our ball. So, for example, if our ball jumps, the engine sound continues. Now, one solution to that would be to use sidechain ducking, which we discussed in the previous week. But another solution could be, what if I fire a snapshot when the ball jumps that will attenuate the event in which the ball sound is located in. So essentially, jumping would fire the snapshot which would attenuate the event. Similarly, maybe if I respawn, it's strange that I'm respawning and I can still hear the engine, for want of a better word, of the ball. So, this is something. Suddenly, I realised that there were actually some quite creative ways to interpret snapshots, and perhaps this was one of them. So, for example, here we have a pickup. Sorry, not a pickup. We have the jump sound, and this clip here is actually a snapshot instrument. And this clip here is the same snapshot instrument, but on the respawn sound. And what this will relate to is inside the mixer, whenever I jump or I respawn, the snapshot will be launched or fired, and it will attenuate the ball sound group by the amount specified within the mix window. It has something called intensity, which is, for example, if the original starting position was here and the snapshot is fired, the intensity is what proportion of that difference will be applied. Okay, so let's just do a demonstration of this, and then in the next video we'll look at how you actually go about setting this up. It's not really like anything that takes place in Logic or Pro Tools or similar DAWs. But again, if you have used live sound consoles, this I think will be an easier concept for you to understand. So let's just do a quick demo, and then in the next video we will actually break it down, start from scratch and enable this. Okay, so here is our Unity game, and we're going to hit play. And I'm rolling backwards and forwards, and I'm going to do a jump. And you can hear that the ball definitely turns down the sound of the energy. Of course, there's variations there because if I'm stationary, the ball won't make any noise. There's also things I need to experiment to refine with this. So it's taking a little bit long to recover that snapshot, but that's things I can refine with the trigger area of the snapshot and essentially play around with that until we have the timing right. Let's just respawn. And you can hear that the ball sound very much got turned off there. So if we just go back to fmod, that's essentially what's happening. So every time, you don't see faders move, by the way. Every time this is triggered, this will turn down by the appropriate amount, and because I've done a fade out on the intensity, this will actually crossfade back up to its original level. Something I should point out, which we'll do when we create this snapshot system, is you do need to have the faders at the correct max volume position in the first place before you start creating your alternative snapshot that will attenuate the item. So as you can see here, we've definitely got a demonstration of that working, and we'll discuss how we got that doing in the next video. Okay, thank you.